Okay, well, just about everybody's here then, so we're missing Deb and Amanda. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, shall we?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So are there any changes to the agenda? None that I'm aware of. Okay, would there be a motion to, well, let's just approve the agenda. We don't need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any public input? Okay. Recognition and good things happening. We'd like to thank the LO staff for a great school year and let them know that they are appreciated and we're excited for their return in August. Congratulations to our 2024 graduates. Best of luck in all your future endeavors. Aaron, your turn, principal's report.
Okay, not too much going on right now as we're kind of getting in July, but I kept our goals for this year. I just kept those on the top with our PLC goals. And actually today we started our data diving. I'll explain that in a second. Our openings, we filled the second grade position. We filled the 2 para positions. And the only thing we have right now is a part-time kitchen or part-time para, whichever we fill. So it's only one position. I just got to figure out who's going to take what. So that's really all I have left to fill. So that's great.
Is a full-time person doing half and half or what?
Now I have to hire a part-time person
Okay.
to fill one of, because the para is preschool, that's only like part-time, or it's the kitchen, which is only part-time.
Okay.
So I have somebody internally that would take either or, so I gotta get another person.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to hire a part-time person.
Yeah.
They will fill one and then an internal person. will fill
Okay.
the other. Today we had our first data dive session from 8 to noon, and I had some elementary teachers in and the middle school, high school English teachers. Looked at standards, strands, and benchmarks. We compared MCA scores to IXL scores. The goal is to help drive instruction, curriculum, and delivery by looking at individual kids and where they're scoring. So to me, it was for being end of June, it was a great session. The teachers and Dylan can kind of attest, he was down there helping out, but they were working. It was a quiet atmosphere down in the computer lab. Started to warm up a little bit there towards the end, but I think for the most part, but they really were working on what they had to do. And Kathy Dudley, switching over to our DAC person, she was there guiding them how to read the MCA scores in Pearson, and then we had to jump into IXL and how to read those scores. So it was just, I was very pleased with how that went today. And I thought we got a lot done in that 4 hours. Thank you to Dylan, who was there. He helped out with computer needs and stuff like that too. So tomorrow is math. We'll bring the math teachers in and we're going to do the same thing. And then really they have all summer to we kind of kick-started that data dive. My goal was to show them how to find the information, where to find it, how to use it, how to look at their instruction to use it. So today was really a lot of, I think, me teaching them those types of things because it is time consuming. But now that if they know where to find it, how to find it, and then I was putting together a cheat sheet as we would go because you had to also use MD website. That's so easy to navigate. So I made sure when we found our steps, I put those in order. So trying to help out the teachers so they have that available. So I was pretty pleased with how that went today. So looking forward to doing math tomorrow and then improving all those things as we move forward. So you've heard about the READ Act. I finally heard back. They cannot get into down here from the state to train us until October. So October 21st, I believe that's that Monday after MEA. That'll be our first chance to get more info on the READ Act and what that all entails and what we have to do with that too. So, and I don't have it on here, but I did schedule Larry Thompson for RCD. He will be here in November again to do some coaching and stuff we do. That's just part of our thing we do for RCD. So, got some things already planned for next year. So,
Would he be able to be at the board meeting?
I'm trying to see right now. The date that we had was unfortunately the Tuesday before. So I did reach out to see if there was any way we could, if the following Tuesday was, I think the 12th was the Tuesday. So I almost was positive it was happened to be the Tuesday before, but I did reach out to see if we could. Yeah, the 19th would be the board meeting. It's the 12th, so I did reach out to see if we could.
Because I think it'd be interesting for the board members that have not had a chance to
Yeah.
hear him.
It would be a good questioning session, and he could give a little presentation, so I'm working on that, so. Other than that, any questions? That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Jen?
All right, I have quite a few things tonight, so bear with me. Trust me, I want to get out of here too. It's hot in here. I'm dying. So I'll make it quick. Let's start with this. So some of the projects we're working on, during the summer in a school district, it gets absolutely crazy with projects, and it looks terrible around here. But be rest assured, it will be ready by the first day of school, or at least the first staff day. So please be rest assured of that. But a couple things, of course, the biggest one is our Highway 56 project out here, and how it's kind of made everybody a little bit uneasy and doing things a little bit more unorthodox than normal. But kudos to our community for still coming into the building, still following kind of our expectations of the routes they need to take when they're here. So they're doing a great job, and as Aaron can attest to, MnDOT has done a fantastic job of really communicating to us about what their next steps are as they're moving forward with all of this. So that's the biggest one, and just cooperating with them in the city has been great. Thank you to Sharon, Angie, and Deb. I know she's not here tonight, but for attending with me the National Grid Renewables Conference. It was over near Adams. We had a great time that day, minus the terrible weather at the end that picked up the tent, and we couldn't find Sharon. She was out driving around with everybody. It was crazy, but we are so looking forward to partnering with them, just giving us free resources, including $9,000 every year. For the next 20 years, so we're pretty excited about that. So that's a really good cooperative partnership. This isn't yet on the docket, but I'll just mention it briefly. We are working with our community organization to purchase stage curtains. As you can see by our current ones, they are not good at all, and so I will give you more information. There has been no exchange of funding yet, so I can't talk about it too much, but I can say our community stepped up yet again, and we're very thankful for that. Elementary gym baskets. I know Aaron has worked extremely hard with our company who's installing our new gym baskets. They are having troubles with some HR stuff, why they can't get people down here to do it, but we sure would like those baskets in before the new flooring is in. So I know he's put a lot of pressure on them to do that. But speaking of the gym floor, tonight we're going to talk about a little bit more of the moisture mitigation system. But prior to that, the guys have been in here almost every day cleaning up that floor. If you haven't yet, please walk in there tonight, take a peek. They've done a really, really nice job of scraping it down to the bare bones to make sure everything is warranty proof. Let's say it that way at this point. Aaron mentioned it already too, that, let me add this too. Let me go back to the Highway 56 project. Yes, we are in collaboration and in contacts with a plumber to make sure that our Cardinal Kids Cardinal Care laboratory does get installed. So that will happen. And I know that's been on your dockets for 5, 6, 7 years, long before I was here. So we're pretty excited about that. But the timing was perfect, especially with the Highway 56 project. Let's see here. Quick shout out to Community Ed. Kate Rohr is working on trying to come up with new ideas, and one of the new ideas she thought of, and she reached out to Sharon and I with this, if it's a good idea or not, and Sharon's a big baseball lady over there, but she wants to take a trip up to the Rochester Honkers baseball game and start that going, and doing kind of cool, weird things like that in the community, and so we're all supportive of that, so you'll hear more about that, I'm sure. Let's see, Aaron talked about his data dives. What that is, and I'll send you more of a email on that too and dig a little deeper into that, but not only do we look at MCA data and IXL data per student, we're also looking at instructional techniques, and is our curriculum relevant to the testing standards? So it's much, much deeper than just looking at a test score or just that child. We are also looking at the pedagogy or the teaching of children. Are we doing it correctly with the tools we have? So it is deeper, and I'll get into that at some point with all of you too. Let's see here. Sharon and I met with the Riceville superintendent. We want to try to do that on a regular basis because we do share students. We take from them, they take from us sometimes. Usually we're on the betterment end of that, which is kind of nice. But our meeting actually expanded beyond enrollment. Part of our strategic planning, which I'll get into a little bit later, is we want to continue to build partnerships outside of the walls of this district. And one of them is possibly Riceville, whether it is sharing staff at times. Maybe it's sharing a curriculum purchase, a national standardized one, like FIAC is a national standardized one. Maybe it's going on field trips to each other's schools and shadowing a student, something that simple. But we want to continue those positive partnerships with them. We are hoping to do maybe meeting with a couple members of the school board, business management, superintendency in both districts, maybe August, September, or October, to continue to open up these conversations and not shut the door, but instead embrace what we have. We're very similar districts, but it seems like it's on Iowa, I think, is on the end of the world. And so it's like, hey, I want to go there sometime. And some of our kids may want to too. So anyway, that's what we're going to try and embrace. So that's part of another collaborative effort we're doing. So speaking of all these kind of collaborations, just last week, Aaron, Angie, Deb, and I showed up for that EDA meeting. So I need to apologize for that. It was never supposed to be an open board meeting for any of you. It was just if you wanted to come. I think it was posted wrong, and so anyway, we're good now. But it was a great meeting. First of all, I need to really commend the City Council for just inviting us and being open to questions and comments, suggestions, discussions. And they're extremely positive and supportive of the school district. They were wonderful, very complimentary, and hopefully we gave some maybe answers back on some things too, and helped them a little bit with some of their processes too. But at the end, what was great is we've decided we want to meet more regularly, so maybe once every 6 months. It could be maybe even every 3, we don't know that yet. But what also came out of it was Aaron and I were contacted by the Friends of Lake Louise, because they were also there that night, and we want to do some collaborating with that too. So yet another collaboration outside of these walls that we want to continue to do. So that leads me to the strategic plan. You may recall last month I said to you, well, a couple months ago, I said I sent that email out to all of you and the staff, hey, what more can we do with this strategic plan? We got to keep it beefy and remind everybody we still have it. And for me, one of the weaknesses I felt was the community engagement, the more outreach we need. And so as you can see, we're trying that and doing that. So when you look at the strategic plan, again, it's only a 2-page document. We have, again, just in our administrative positions, we have hit the objectives, but that doesn't mean we're done. We still can refine, we can reflect, we can research, and we can still do better in everything we do. But the current strategic plan is complete. It didn't take us 5 years to do it, which is kind of nice. But again, we're going to still continue to market this. We're still going to live and die by it. That this is kind of our how-to Bible of how we're doing things around here and what we need to work on. But I wanted to share that with you tonight. things are going a lot pretty quick right now, so please keep watching your emails for all these community things that may be coming your way that I might need you for. But it does have to do with what we all agreed to, was this strategic plan, and community engagement is definitely on here. So, and that's it for me tonight.
Okay. Any questions for Jen?
One, with the renewable, the partnership with the renewables,
Yeah.
is there any opportunities for, like, continuing the partnership with vocational curriculum?
Great question. It is a great question. As a matter of fact, one of the opportunities we may have is to have them come in. Again, it would start at infancy stages, maybe kind of marketing their business, marketing what they do within their business, and then eventually getting to the point where, hey, we have a curriculum to offer you, or is there a national one that we could maybe purchase to place in a science curriculum, or to place in a math, whatever, engineering, whatever it may be. But yes, we have had those very, very initial conversations, and as a matter of fact, that day I did.
Okay,
Because I'd like to get there somehow.
right.
You know, because it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And they're already wanting to partner so much with us, not only financially, but with other things.
Right.
They like how innovative we are and what we're doing, and so I think it's going to be sooner than later. Your question
Okay.
will be answered.
That was something that they seemed to, as a company, be really passionate about, was partnering with the community and all these other entities to do things like that. So I think they'll follow through.
Right.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked is because we try to do that with our company, and I know there's a lot of companies doing that now. And I have heard of districts like putting panels up on their roof, and they get the benefits from those, and they also get to teach the kids.
We did, and maybe Erin can talk more about this, but we did have a company come in to talk a little bit about the windmill sector, and was willing to have deeper conversations. I think then they got sent somewhere else, this
Right.
particular company.
Yeah.
But they came in and really wanted to talk about, hey, we can help start promoting this profession, but also even we could partner in terms of certifying kids when they're a junior or senior in high school. Similar to that we do with the CNA program here.
Yes.
You know, open it up so it's more than just
Maybe we
CNA.
could do something with the US.
We do offer summer employment for school-age kids.
See, that's a big deal. It's almost like an internship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and exposes you guys, and I love that. True hands-on experiences right
Yes.
there.
Right.
So, yeah, we will definitely keep you in the loop, because as Angie said, they're willing to go. I mean, we still have 300 questions to ask, you know, but they're like, oh no, we'll do this, that, whatever. Very willing to meet and talk with us, and they're excited, and these two can speak definitely on it as well.
So when they couldn't find me, I was on tour.
That's what
I
she
was on the
says.
bus on
You
tour.
weren't under the tent.
No. And the tour was amazing, and I wish the weather wouldn't have been a factor, because there was a lightning, so we couldn't even get out of the van. But if our kids could go down there and take that same tour, just to, you know, just to get a taste of it, because I was very, very interested, and I think all of the kids would be as well.
Yes.
We need to do more of that, get kids interested in vocational.
Yes.
Get a little taste of it.
Can I just add two more things? I apologize. In my report, next month, you will all be approving our long-term facility maintenance, our 10-year plan. That's every July we do that. Just know in your next email from me, I'll kind of lay out what LTFM is, when the state statute came about, what our current kind of the unofficial spreadsheet looks like. You've seen it before, but that all plays into our true 10-year plan we sent to MDE. So you'll be getting that next month, along with an email next week. Also, keep in mind too, our 12-year plan for the roof, our preventative maintenance roof plan. They're gonna start doing the roofs here now again this summer. Now they're a little behind because of the weather, as you can imagine, but just know that's coming too. And then finally, in the next communication I sent you, student activity accounts. You may recall Congress was looking at them to see if there would be any changes. There is still no changes since the 2016 time, but I will still send that out to you so you know your roles, why you see that all the time on the board agenda. So that'll be on there too. That's
Okay.
it, thank you.
Any other questions for Jen? Otherwise, thank you very much. Moving on to the consent agenda. Any questions, corrections, or additions to last month's board meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none. Treasurer's reports. Any questions on any of those reports that we received? Okay. There'll be some fundraisers, FFA fruit, butter braids, cheese, etc. sale, October 8th through November 1st. Personnel, approve the hiring of Miranda Nagel, Reed Hungerholt, Mason Jansen, Kira Lewison, Izzy Bird, and Tierney Schulte as pool workers for the upcoming school year. Approve the hiring of Catherine Baki, second grade teacher. Approval of the hiring of Brittany Waugh as paraprofessional for this coming year. Approval of the hiring of Cassandra Fallhaber, paraprofessional. Approve the resignation of Malik Schaefer as a pool lifeguard, effective immediately. Approve the resignation of Logan Deemer, pool lifeguard, effective immediately. Approve the resignation of Samuel Damaris as paraprofessional, effective immediately. And approve the resignation of Kyla Stagey, paraprofessional, effective immediately. Any questions on any of those things? If there aren't any, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Dave. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Pat. Any questions, discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, looks like there's no policy review, no district policy committee meeting this month. No donations. We need to approve the first reading of the emergency handbook.
So in the emails, or in the posting, you'll note that you received the handbooks, but you received any changes that went along with that handbook. Now keep in mind, we do always recommend and appreciate if you always approve the first reading. And then it still gives you time for a month to say, wait a minute here, prior to second reading, we need some changes. And that gives us time.
So there were just a few changes to the emergency handbook that we all saw, so it's basically the same thing. Any questions? Otherwise, would there be a motion to approve the first reading of the emergency handbook?
I move to approve the first reading of the emergency handbook.
Thank you, Kyle. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Angie. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The first reading of the faculty handbook. There's some changes to that, Jen, or not really?
I think we have, let me look. I don't think there was many either.
That might have been minor, the faculty. if
Yeah.
there was any.
I think there's the regular date changes, things like that, but
There was a
I think that's right.
there was
Like
there's a
there's
short
names
one.
and dates.
Bus requisition, church nighttime, custodian, a maintenance request form was added.
yes. Thank you.
Deleted wiki space, and study halls.
Okay. Anybody got any questions on any of that stuff? For the faculty handbook? If there are none, can I get a motion to approve the first reading of the faculty handbook?
So moved.
Thanks, Angie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Pat. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the first reading of the middle school, high school student handbook. Any changes to that? Someone that has a computer with that.
Call content, student passbook was updated. Senior class trip should be considered a school function where all school rules apply. Some additions to PSEO requirements regarding credits, and some additional information for the kids about dropping and adding. And that it is mandatory that PSEO students attend in person for senior project and follow senior paper timelines. And then something about media center reading level permissions.
Okay. Any questions regarding the changes to the student handbook? If not, is there a motion to approve the first reading of the middle school, high school student handbook?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. First reading of the elementary student handbook.
Very simple. Change the year, some staff name changes, and add media center reading level permission.
Okay, pretty simple. Any questions on that? Is there a motion to approve the first reading of the elementary student handbook?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Dave.
Second.
Thanks, Angie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First reading of the pool handbook.
Length of break will be 15 instead of 10, and patrons are blown out at 8:15 instead of 8:25.
Okay. Any questions on that? On the pool handbook? If not, is there a motion to approve the first reading of the pool handbook?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Dave. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we need to approve the final reading of the activities and coaches handbook for 24-25.
And I did not receive any
Any
changes.
changes? Okay.
No.
All right, would there be a motion to approve the final reading of the activities and coaches handbook?
I move we approve the activities and coaches handbook.
Thank you, Kyle. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Pat. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Now we move on to the moisture mitigation system for the gym floor. I was wondering about us taking a walk and going up there. Would anybody like to do that?
Yeah, I think that'd be okay.
You can.
Can we do that now, or we want to move that down to something later in the agenda? What's anybody think? Should we just take a walk
Let's
up
just
there and
do
talk
it
up
right
there?
now.
Okay, let's take a walk. Okay, so we went for a tour and looked at the gym and talked a little bit about what they need to do to mitigate the vapor and add a vapor barrier there. So does everybody have that quote in front of them from Jungie?
Yes.
Okay, I printed it off, but I don't see it. So, what was the,
19,655.
okay. All right, anybody got any questions about what we have to do? We need to approve that in order to make sure that our warranty on the floor will be intact. If we don't, there'll be no warranty. And the floor won't last like it should. So, doesn't seem like we have a lot of choice.
Disappointing that they didn't know about that when they gave the quote.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in that as well. It seems like they should have known what would be required.
And I wonder too if, well, even the two other quotes we got, theirs would have been higher yet too.
Yeah,
So at the end, it probably would have been Jungie anyway.
Right.
You know, just kind of thinking through it potentially.
well, and it wasn't on anybody else's quote
No.
either.
No, it
No.
wasn't. And we had no idea if that's what was going on under that
Right.
floor. So, would someone like to make the motion to approve the quote on the moisture mitigation that's needed on the small gym floor?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Angie. Any other discussion? Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, approve the 24-25 school board meeting dates. Kind of a formality. So we got a list of when our meeting dates would be throughout for the rest of the year. Third, I'm sure most of them are the third Tuesday.
Yes. And there is a disclaimer on there too, that if we have to change them, we get to do that, just as long as there's a 3-day notice.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the school board meeting dates for the rest of the year?
Make a motion to approve the meeting dates.
Thanks, Dave. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we need to approve the posting notice for the filing period for school board elections. And I printed that off too. That's gotta be, what, July 30th?
July
July
13th, August 13th.
July 30th through August 13th.
So once this is approved tonight, and I'll put this in an email to all of you too, Dylan will receive an email from me tomorrow indicating this will be placed on our website. Then also I'm in contact with Amanda Kiefer from Malheur County. She does everything election, so tomorrow I'm going to be talking with her as well about a couple things we need to do. But also tomorrow, our approved newspaper will get this to be posted roughly 10 days ahead of this July 30th time. So it's all timing with everything. But we've been through
Yeah,
it
we've
before.
got you sent us a timeline for the election, so that would have to be done by July 16th. Yeah. So, okay. Any questions? What do we have, four openings?
This is 4 seats here.
4 seats.
So, is there a motion to approve the filing dates of July 30th through August 13th?
I move we approve the filing dates, July 30th through 13th of August.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Pat. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, so we gotta approve the identified official with authority. That sounds like a big deal.
Pretty important job I have.
That would be Jen. It's a formality we have to
It
do
is
every
a
year.
formality. You guys have seen it before. What this is I get to go into MDE and choose people, usually choose people who are experienced, who have done many things before in certain realms, give them access to MDE reporting, MDE data. So for example, Aaron's a great example. You choose your principal to run the DERS report, which is the District Student Discipline System. He would be the one I would choose. And so there is so many reports, and some of these reports are accessible by our auditors, so I approve them as well. Because you guys approve auditors for me, and then I put them into the MD system. SMEC is part of this, where sometimes they'll reach out to me and ask me, hey, can you approve so-and-so, because they need to file a report for you on behalf of ISD 499. But again, as Dave said, it's a formality. It's every year you should approve this.
Okay, any questions? Otherwise, a motion to approve Jen as the identified official with authority.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I don't even need it, I would just assume it.
Just think she's got
Yeah,
so much
so it's like,
authority.
yeah, I don't think you guys.
All right, so the revised budget from the 23-24 school year will approve for the final time.
This is exciting stuff, very exciting stuff. So tonight, it's all gonna be about, well, Sharon, a lot of it. She has done an exceptional job of coming here full-time, leaving CLA to serve the LO school district. I cannot thank her enough for all the cleanup she's done, but also the innovative ways of doing a large budget. Now, keep in mind, Erin does the here and now budgets, Sharon does the 3 to 5 year budgets, and I do the 5 year and out budgets. But when I say that, we are collaborating all the time, and Sharon will get deeper into this. But Sharon and I start in October working on your next fiscal year's budget for that July 1 of that next year. Then we start getting Erin involved around the January, February time. The day-to-day operations then gets put into that budget. But she's gonna share more information on this. And I'll jump in on occasion too, but I'm gonna hand it over to her now.
So, to start with, the 24 revised budget is, even though it's pretty close to June 30th here, it's still not, complete. And so, the numbers that you see on the year-to-date, they are still gonna change, and they may change one way or the other, due to many factors at this point. And so, when doing that revised budget, it's still a look forward process, or a dive deep and figure out where you should land for all of the revenues and expenses. Because there's entries that were made for the last fiscal year at the end of the year that may still affect some entries for this year that need to be reversed. A lot of this year was finding things that need to be corrected or done differently. One thing to point out with that is there was a large amount that was posted to revenue in the general fund last spring, and it really belonged to the scholarship fund. And so that needs to be moved out of the general fund into the scholarship fund immediately. When I found that, I contacted the auditor and said, hey, we're needing to do this adjustment. And so we're still going to be attending to these numbers very much in the next month or so to revise them. But under the 24 revised, as to the best of my ability and knowledge at this point, we will come out with a change in fund balance of approximately $250,000 to the good. So last year it was the other way at the end of the fiscal year, and so we're hoping that this does come true and that we will fall into that 253, recouping much of that decrease in fund balance that we had last year, and that would be very good for the district. The change from the original adopted budget, the biggest thing, there's a lot of things that changed, but the biggest thing to identify there is special ed aid, and that was another thing that through this year, things are changing. So we have to go into what's called a system called CEDRA and enter our special ed staff. And the state MDE, they are constantly running a potential estimate of what our state special ed aid might be. Well, that special ed aid decreased by $100,000 after I updated to people that we currently have in place versus people that haven't worked here for a couple of years. So everything is just so, I guess what I'm trying to say is everything is evolving, and the more we get things in place and get systems and processes in place so that things run smoothly and can be done current and on time, the more definitive and better these reports will be for all of you. And when we get to this point, I should be able to say, I don't think it's gonna change much, like maybe
That's why we're very
$5,000
happy
or so.
that we have you
Yes.
full-time
Well, I am,
instead of having a
I'm happy
part-timer.
to be here full-time, and I truly, truly I still love budgeting, and I still love diving into these numbers. Is it difficult sometimes when you run into things that you don't want to address? Yes, but, anyway, I love the numbers, and I'm glad that they came out, positive, or hoping that they will turn out positive for the 24 revenue. Some of the big changes I just want to identify in the expenditures, like services itself went down from 23 actual, and actually it's probably a big part of CLA. So that one. And then supplies. So there was instructional technology purchased and some items for ESSERS in 23, but even more so in 24. We purchased almost $200,000 worth of furniture for ESSERS, for student and staff, for better furniture arrangement and health safety issues. And then also some Chromebooks for 9-12 were purchased, and we were able to utilize some funds from ESSERS to pay for half of those at this point too. So when you look at 25 adopted, we'll get to that in a minute, you'll see that drops significantly, and that's why. And then the equipment, there was a vehicle purchased in 23, and then in 24 and also 25, the SMEC debt payment is actually 50,000 of that amount. So when you're looking at that, what are we purchasing for equipment? We really haven't purchased any. Debt for the SMEC building is also involved with that. So,
So will the ESSER dollars be gone after this year?
yes, so as of June 30th, we will have been able to capture all the ESSER dollars that are available. And we'll utilize the majority of them, if not all of them. And to the good of the district, so you'll hear lots of stories out there that districts are suffering because of the lack of ESSER dollars from here moving forward. But this district planned well. There was a couple of staff members that were paid with ESSER dollars for a couple of years to utilize all of the funds, and that was obviously to the best interest of the district because we didn't want to not utilize them. But we also placed that in places that we think, we could recover from. So, and if we couldn't, we could possibly do without. So as of yet, you're still able as a district to be able to be moving forward and not suffer from those loss of ESSER funds. So,
I'd have to make any cuts.
right. Good job. Well done. And so yes, the revenue is going to fall significantly because of that as well. But as Jen said, we are always forward thinking. We're always thinking about how we're going to keep our expenses level with our revenues, if not lower, so that we can maintain a good fund balance. And the other key component of that, of course, is your enrollment and your average daily membership, which can be two totally different things. But anyway, it gets down to student numbers. And we asked for updated numbers today, and you'll be happy to hear at this point that we estimate that there will be 25 more head count in the fall than there is now. So again, well done. And that is the key, that's the key to this whole thing.
Sharon, is that
Summer spec too.
is that
Yes, summer spec.
there's
difference
still
in
others.
what's coming in for kindergarten to what graduated, or in addition to the difference in that?
All of that taken
Yes.
into effect,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Just, and we gotta dig deeper into these numbers, don't get me wrong, but yeah, our numbers, and just today we ran, so we're about the
Yeah.
300 mark.
And this really is the numbers that drive your revenue. So, open enrollment especially as well. So, Jen was talking about, we met with Iowa and we're continuing that, reciprocity agreement and hoping to continue that forward because it is beneficial to us. We were able to collect money for 2 years back, so that was good as well, so.
It's nice to see, there's other districts in the area that was only looking at the short term, and now they're in some big trouble.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So it's,
Yeah, we've talked about that at length. I think even at our board meetings here, that when I wrote that grant, but working with business management, because like I said earlier, he has a role in finances, she has a role, and I have a role. Even if I'm not here in 5 years, I have to think 5 years. She's not here, she has to think 3 years down the road, and it's almost forced. Now it becomes the three of us, our forced habit to talk that way. Because we'll argue about, wait a minute, I can't sustain that for 5 years, and he'll say, well, I need it next year. And we will have an hour argument, but that's what gets us to where we are, where you have a nice looking budget and revised budget. The other thing too that I want to remind you all of, there are also checkpoints throughout your fiscal year to make sure you're on the right track. One is the audit, and they come down and they tell you, hey, you're wrong here, you're right here, this was naughty, this was good, right? They do that for you, and they're available all the time, we can bring them in. The other time is our truth in taxation, where we talk about our levy, we talk about student numbers, we talk about, hey, this is what we're predicting. So there are two very, very significant times where they're going to tell you what we're telling you, but in their way. We all want to be on the same page with that too. And as Sharon said, even today you go on to the MDE financial sources that we use, it went up 5,000 this morning from last night, and then it'll drop tonight 10,000. But she's right, it evolves every single day. So this is a snapshot we need approved. It will change and evolve, but as you can see, it does. I mean, we went from negative, which we knew that was coming, but we also said to you wait till next year, or the revision of this budget. It won't be, but we had to give you that snapshot. We had to.
Well, you guys deserve a lot of credit for managing those ESSER dollars properly, because otherwise we'd be in the same position.
St. Charles is a good example.
Yeah.
If you
So
Google St. Charles.
we don't have to make any cuts.
Byron's another one. You're right, you brought them to me too.
Yeah. So you guys deserve a lot of credit for
Serious
that.
stuff.
So in finishing up with 24 revenue, what I want to also explain is that, so the gym project, the curtain, those types of projects, right now, I have them in 25. They may have to move to a work in progress in 24, depending on what our auditor decides. So there may be some things that move from one side to the other, but they should, balance each other out. So if numbers change significantly, that could be some of the reasoning too. So every day is,
Like what we did with the
every day we
lighting
get
and
closer.
stuff like that.
yeah, so
Did the same thing.
we paid the last payment for the lighting this year, so, and we won't have that next year, but then,
No, it's
that's why we wanted to push the
Yep.
forward.
Next year will be something else.
Yeah, 2 years
Yeah.
we're doing.
So anyway, ended this year, 253,000 to the good, hopefully. And then next year, we're pretty much at this point in the game. Looking forward, we're looking at pretty much a balanced budget. Hopefully a little bit
But
positive.
you always hope for, you rarely see
Yeah.
this, so take a picture of this and share it with people, because we should get an award for this, I feel like, because that's exactly what MD wants you to do. They don't want you to be sitting on your constituents' dollars, nor do we. We're not their bank. We want to use their
Our
dollars.
constituents don't want to see that.
That's right. Right, but also we want to use it wisely and not deficit spend all the time either, so we're pretty good there. And I was telling Dave this too as we were preparing your agenda tonight, that we are within your fund balance policy. We are over the 3-month operating expense. You should be at 3 months. That's what your policy is, but we're over that. Now keep in mind, and Sharon will be the first to tell you this, that every single day, Sharon and Aaron and I are looking at cutting fat. If we have to, we have to. That's just how it is. That if we feel like, oh, this curriculum is $50,000 more, not worth it. Or if this position isn't doing what it's supposed to do, we're gonna cut, whatever it is. We will always do that first. You know, we can't just, I love our numbers right now. We're always gonna be making sure we're okay.
And always in mind of what's best for the student and what will give them the best education, because if we can, for instance, not hire another person in the office, it's much better to not do that than it is to have to cut somebody that's in the classroom. So
Right.
That is
it's
right.
just a big balance, and no, we don't want any rewards, so just
For that number.
let's just look at it and say, hopefully this will be how it is, and life is good, and we'll work hard to keep it this way. This is the goal, and we want this to continue to be the goal now moving forward, to keep that balanced as much as possible.
Sounds good.
I can answer any questions, and also if anybody ever wants to meet about the budget or anything about anything, I'm very willing to meet and talk through things.
Just schedule at least an hour with her and she'll be glad.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to help.
Absolutely. She digs deep into it for sure.
If I don't know the answer, I will get the answer, and make sure that it's accurate, so. Anything I can answer.
Well, the numbers really shouldn't change a lot, should they, Sharon? It's
No.
June 25th today.
Yeah, and all the
We've only got
expenses
5 more
are.
days left of the fiscal year, so it really shouldn't change much unless you have to
Move a project
move
in
something
progress.
because of audit.
Yes.
Okay.
And audit this year is the first week of September, so I'm starting tomorrow to work on that, and getting entries done and in place for that. Things pulled, so we'll be ready.
Any questions? Otherwise, good report and a good result. And it sounds like largely due to kind of catching up on work that was behind. So that's great. It's another reason why it's great to have a full-time business manager for sure. Okay, if there are no questions, is there a motion to approve the revised 23-24 budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised 2023-24 budget.
Thank you, Dave. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Angie. Any other questions or discussion before we vote? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, now we can move right in and approve the 24-25 preliminary budget, right? And you did the whole
Yes.
thing together. Okay, is there any questions about that? We need to approve the 24-25 preliminary budget.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kyle. Any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, I think we're to the end of that list. But very good. You guys deserve kudos for what you've done on the budget. So thank you very much. Are there any committee reports? Anything at all? Okay, it is summertime, I guess. So, other than that, moving on to the district calendar, the 4th of July holiday, this July 16th is our next school board meeting. On August 20th would be the August school board meeting. August 26th to 28th is staff development. September 2nd, of course, is Labor Day. September 3rd, middle school and high school's first day of school. I'm sure they're excited. September 5th, elementary first day of school. So, is there anything else that we need to talk about? Kyle?
Noticing out on the playground, I don't know where the lines are, but there's a lot of big dead ash trees along that back between us and Masters that are hanging over. I know there's one hanging over the ball field in the playground.
Okay.
And in the way I've been cutting ash trees down here lately, I've noticed they're turning brittle fast for being hardwood. Something that should probably be.
I dug a lot of limbs out of the pasture's fence today.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Something that should be maybe thought about getting cleaned up before the kids are out there.
Yes.
Um,
I would recommend you sending me a quote
Yeah.
if possible, because
Okay.
I'm sure it would be under my threshold. Like
I'm not sure what do we go all the way to the fence back here along the building?
I don't know, that property kind of jogs there.
Yeah.
It's a bad.
I don't think it follows the fence. I'm
Right,
not sure about that.
I don't know either. I would agree though. I don't think it does.
okay. That would be something to look at and
Might have to talk to
the city.
Masters to see.
Yeah. But I know like the one over on the ball field is hanging out over the ball field where they would go in and out of the dugout if they're playing kickball or whatever over there.
Right.
I haven't been back in behind the old big toy there where the playground is, but
Okay.
I think there's some that are reaching over the top of the fenced-in playground.
So you're talking more over by the ball field and the playground.
Yep, just that line there.
Okay.
That's the only place there is any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you get Jen a quote?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll share it out for sure.
Okay.
Sounds like a safety issue more than anything.
Yeah, ash is hardwood, and 2 years ago, you never saw any rotten
They're
ash
dead.
trees, and
They're
now they're
dead.
dead, but like when the Dutch elm came through, that's hardwood too, and they died, but they didn't rot as fast as these are. They're turning brittle and snap, and some of it's little stuff, but in the heat of the summertime where the bark's splitting on the inside of these big crotches, there'll be a split in a limb that's this size that you can't see from the ground, because it's where the sun's been beaten up, where
Drive it out,
it's
right?
dead, and it dries it out so bad.
Okay. Yeah? Please do.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. I guess we're to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Anybody want to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thanks, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
7:17.